HISD teachers and leaders, the final draft of the Teacher Excellence System was released today. TES is a teacher evaluation system that provides a comprehensive evaluation of a teacher's impact on student success. We're thrilled to talk about it today with Alyssa Murray, the Deputy Chief of Academics. Now, Alyssa has spent the past year working with teachers and educators to develop TES. First off, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. We're so excited it's released.
Yes. So first off, tell us what is TES, and talk to us about what this is.
Yes, TES is our proposed new teacher evaluation system. So we have been working on it since really about a year and a half ago. We are bringing it before the board in March. We've really been working closely with a group of schools and then really the broader district to help us draft and refine it. And we've come up with a system that'll will evaluate teachers on a couple of different domains. So it's going to remain anchored in quality of instruction and student achievement. Our current system is all quality of instruction and student achievement, so that's not going to change. The new system will have 35% student achievement outcomes, 45% quality of instruction, 15% will be the planning and professionalism rubrics. That's a new piece. And 5% will be based on the campus action plan. So that's also a new piece.
Wonderful. So, and you touched on this a little bit already. So how is this system exactly different than our old system right now?
So there's a lot of similarities and we hope a lot of improvements. Like I mentioned, still focused on quality of instruction and student outcomes. That's our North Star. That's what we have to make sure we're seeing in classrooms and holding teachers accountable to. So that part didn't change. Couple of big things did. One, we added the Distinguished Teacher Program. So this is a way for us to recognize and celebrate teachers for what they do outside of the classroom.
Okay.
So our top performing teachers are typically the teachers that we find who are hanging out at the campus on weekends, helping with clubs and tutorials and sports. They might be leading a staff committee. They might be on their weekends heading up to get their master's somewhere. And so for those teachers, they will be able to apply to be a distinguished teacher, and they will earn access to the highest possible levels of the evaluation. They'll get some bonus points on their evaluation. So that's really exciting. Another really exciting thing is the addition of the campus action plan. It's only 5% of a teacher's evaluation, so it's very small. But what essentially that means is right now, all principals write an action plan for their campus. It lays out the goals they want to achieve for their school's community. And principals at the end of the year say, okay, here's how I did on meeting my goals, and that goes into their principal evaluation. We're adding that same piece into the teacher's evaluation because what we find is typically when a school succeeds, it's because the teachers are really making that happen on the ground. So now everyone will be able to celebrate the success of the action plan, and every teacher on the campus and principal and APs will all receive the same number of points for the action plan. So it's promoting kind of this collective efficacy, and all of us kind of rooting toward the same thing. So that's the two kind of big ones, and then there were a lot of improvements on just what we already do. So we're adding an evaluator certification program. So now our evaluators will have to be certified in TES to make sure they're really calibrated and giving a fair, equitable evaluation. We also added a new menu for our teachers who teach elective courses or courses who do not have a national, state, or local exam. So made that part a little bit more rigorous for those folks and equitable. And just constantly looked at how things were working and made little tweaks along the way to make sure the system was as strong as possible. And then the last thing.
That's a lot to cover right
I know, it's a lot. The last, I think, big difference is our current system. We adopted TES, and our central office team worked together to put that out really quickly and get it to teachers and evaluate teachers off of that system. This system, TES, was built by teachers and leaders and community members, DAC, SDMC. So this is a system that people have had input in, versus right now, we have a system that is strong, but didn't actually have that level of community input. So
and trying to make it stronger now.
Absolutely.
And you touched on this a little bit right now too, but exactly how were teachers involved in making this new system?
Yes, a lot of different ways, and it's been so fun to get to work with the teachers on this. We started off by having a set of campuses who opted in to be sort of our strategic advisors, we call them, the Trailblazer campuses. So there are 18 campuses where principals opted in. Teachers from those campuses formed a Trailblazer group, and we meet with them every month and go really in depth on the evaluation, ask them for feedback, review drafts with them. So that's one way. We also did a district-wide survey of all teachers and leaders to get their perceptions on evaluation. And then at every campus, we introduced what's called a TES trainer.
Okay.
So right now, it can be a lot to understand our evaluation system. I even just right now gave you a lot of information. But I think it's a lot easier for a teacher to have somebody at their campus that they can talk to who knows the evaluation system really, really well.
And at their level.
Right, versus calling me or my team and saying, hey, I don't understand this part of the evaluation. So we added a TES trainer to every campus. Then they helped us through the draft iteration process to present a draft to their team, get feedback. We took that feedback, incorporated it. Final draft shows those changes. So that's another way. And then we also had SDMCs, so our campus shared decision-making committees, and DAC. We do have a few teachers on DAC, the District Advisory Committee, and those folks really were designing hand in hand with us. And lastly, we had over 75 different focus groups where teachers could opt in to give us feedback on very specific pieces of it. How does the evaluation look if I'm a special education teacher or if I'm a PE teacher? So that's been really awesome as well.
Very nice. So we know last month a draft of this, like you mentioned, was sent to teachers. When it was sent to them and they reviewed it, kind of what did they see? What did you all learn? What kind of changes did you make from the draft to the final version now?
Yes, great question. One of the big things we asked folks to do in SDMCs, those are our teachers, our leaders, community members, is review 2 rubrics that we introduced as part of the system. We introduced the Planning and Professionalism rubric and the Distinguished Teacher rubric. So every SDMC combed through those rubrics and gave us feedback. We took all of that feedback and redrafted so the language we think is going to hopefully address that feedback and be a little bit more clear and a little bit more equitable. Other things we've done is just clarified some misconceptions. People asked us, if you're going to certify an evaluator, are you going to make sure that they can not only evaluate a math class, but also do a spot really well in a PE class or a dance class or a pre-K class? So we clarified that every evaluator will be certified in both core and specialty as well. So kind of made some tweaks there. We've also added the Group F SLO menu. So those are those teachers that don't have the national, state, or local assessment tied to their course. So we've added that menu. It's many, many pages long, and teachers have read through it, which is fantastic. And then we've just made some small tweaks. We heard in one of our TES trainer sessions, I believe, might have been in an SDMC, I can't remember, but somebody said, hey, why don't you have an opportunity for if a teacher improves on their spot evaluation in December, have that December score replace one of their earlier months, because we're all about coaching and growth. And we said, that's a pretty good idea. So there's little things like that kind of sprinkled in that we've heard from folks. But yeah, those are kind of really the refinements that you'll see.
I know we covered a lot today. Where can teachers go to find out some more of this information, get it, at their pace, if you will?
Yes, absolutely. So right now we've been directing teachers to our For Teachers Only website. And that's the website where they can always go and see all their spot observation scores. There's a tab at the top that says TES, and we have all the resources there. And then pending board approval, over the next few months, we're going to start releasing a whole bunch of other trainings and supports. Everything that we're going to train our evaluators on, videos of exemplar classrooms. All the different training resources we've promised are going to start to flow in through that platform and potentially other platforms as well.
Wonderful. And we'll keep teachers updated here on HISD Now.
Oh, and yes, one other thing, we'll keep teachers updated via their TES trainer as well. We're going to continue the TES trainer program. We got a lot of great feedback on that. So
wonderful. A lot of good information here today.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, and thank you to all of our teachers for the amazing work that you're doing each and every day to support the academic growth and success of all of our students.